Hi and welcome back to the channel. Another episode of our WRX in the shed build. It's been a hot and muggy day today. It's been about 38 degrees. Still, it's the afternoon. It's time to get into it. So let's do it. Today I'm going to try and get the power steering rack in, get the power steering line sorted out and a few other bits and pieces. Also try and get all the front suspension back in again, lower control arms and all that connected up and get going from there. Right, onto these power steering lines. I'm going to cut this tube here and here. I'm going to flare it and I'm going to use some transmission hose. This is high pressure hose, doesn't really matter, on both ends of that very short section there with a couple of clamps on it, and that will be fine for what we are doing with it. Also an update on the situation with the intercooler hose. I got onto the guys, the eBay store, and said, hey listen, you've sent me the wrong hose, what's the go with that? And they came back to me quite quickly, which I'm glad about. Was quite surprised, but they were good. And they said, yep, we have, sorry about that. We checked with our warehouse and with our factory. They're probably all made in China. And no, we don't have that available, so they are going to provide a full refund. I'm still waiting for that to come through. And they're also going to, I've asked them to change their listing or remove that product because it doesn't fit what they're advertising, and they said, yeah, we'll do that as well. So that's some good news there. Easier than I thought. Well, that's good. A couple of false starts there, partly because I'd forgotten how to use the flaring tool because it's been so long, but also these pipes are not that easy to flare. Anyway, got them flared. Off to get the make it a bit easier to work with. Cooler out, I'll put the rack in. Okay, that's the power steering rack in after a bit of mucking about. I had to do a bit, I didn't film the rack going in because the camera tripod doesn't go low enough to film under the car, and also there's not a lot to see. It's quite tricky to work on it, let alone get in there and film it. A few other things, because these are different version power steering lines and different power steering pump. The manifolds are different on the version 1, version 2 to the later models. Normally the power steering lines bolt up to these brackets here on the manifold. They won't in this particular case. It's not a major drama. I've got the heat shielding in at the moment. The master cylinder should normally be bolted to the firewall. The booster should be bolted so that's where it will sit, so it won't actually touch these lines. It's just loose for the moment. We don't want to put too much inside the car for the cage, but it was easier to get that in and make sure we had clearance around it before we put the engine in. While I was under the engine bay, under the car, I did find that for some reason 2 of the engine mount bolts on the block were removed. I'm guessing that's happened while the engine, when the engine was coming out, and so luckily I found those and I have replaced those bolts as well, so that's all bolted in correctly now. Luckily I found that before we got too much further into it. Well, that could have been a bit of a drama. These power steering lines, I may have to make up a bracket from here up to the manifold to steady those, because obviously that's going to move around. I've used a cable tie here. There should be a bracket here. However, once we have got the expansion tank on, which is a different tank, that's going to be in the way. So that's what I'm doing with that at the moment, and there's still going to need to be a little bit of movement in there to get that to all clear. I may need to put a slight kink on the power steering lines and move the bracket slightly to get it all in so that it's not all touching, because it's all very tight under there at the moment. With the steering rack, The rack's in the car, however, I haven't put the steering knuckle in yet and connected the column up. Reason being is steering column has got to come out and the dash bar's got to come out to put the cage in, and I'll show you how we go about setting up the steering column and centering the rack and all that when we get there. Now I know some people are going to go straight off the bat, why are you putting grease into everything? It makes it a bit easier to get all these bushes and pins slid in. All the factory bushes have a steel crush tube inside them, so the grease actually won't be touching the rubber as such, it'll be touching the crush tube. What happens is particularly that the cross members and things like that, they get squeezed up with tension, and sometimes they're not quite so easy to get things in. A little bit of grease helps everything along its way. Also put some grease on the bolts as well. It just helps them to seat. Also you can see these have got fairly good ball joints in them, which is good. I'm using the standard steel control arms rather than an aluminium STI arm. Reason being is these ones were on the car and are in good condition, so they can go back in. There's no major drama with that or with those. Put a bit of grease on the ball joint as well. Some people will say use anti-seize, like a copper or a zinc-based anti-seize. I simply don't have any here, and the reason we grease all this sort of stuff is because usually in rally cars it goes in and out quite regularly, or it can do. Depending, this car shouldn't hopefully need to have another set done in it for a while, but the grease tends to stay all right inside there where it's out of the air and out of the weather. Usually need a bit of a love tap to get them in. And sometimes a bit of a podgy bar just to help get the holes lined up. Which way through does this bolt go? Well, it should go through from the front. Yes, I know. Some people are going to be screaming at the screen going, why did you use a hammer to knock it in? Look, I'm just giving it very gentle taps. There's a lot of grease on there, so the threads are okay. They cope all right with that. Always make sure you get a good couple of turns on by hand before using particularly something as brutal as a big rattle gun like this. Righto. Get the control arm in. Bit of a love tap with a hammer and a block of wood. Everyone's a winner. Righto. I will tighten those ones with a spanner because I don't think, maybe, no, won't get the rattle gun in there. Righto. It's all tight. Tie it end. Go in. Remember I said these are loose at the moment until such time. Put a tiny smidge of grease on that thread just to make sure it's got some love. Beautiful. Now while we're down here mucking around with the wheels and the front suspension, I'll talk about the front brakes. This model WRX had the standard 2-pot slide caliper cast iron type front brakes, which were pretty much fitted from the beginning of the Rex or even beginning of the Liberty RS through to 98 or thereabouts. Late 98 they changed the brakes over and went to a Sumitomo 4-pot cast iron front caliper. So basically a 4-pot front brakes, which were bigger rotors and bigger pads as well. Now all the other rally cars we have are all running those Sumitomo calipers, the ones that have got the Subaru cast into the caliper. So we've got a spare set of front brakes lying around, and even though this car didn't have those fitted and the version 1 didn't have those fitted, we will fit the 4-pot calipers to these. We're going to have to redo all the brake lines in the car anyway, and I'll talk more about that when we get around to that point. Also, while we're talking about the front end of the car, for some odd reason the 93 Rex didn't have a front sway bar in it. Now, on gravel cars, it is commonplace for some people to not run, so disconnect or remove the rear sway bar from the car. Makes the rear end a little bit softer. However, the front, my general thoughts on it are that it should run a front sway bar, and we will put a front sway bar on this because this has got the steel lower control arms on there anyway. We will run a stock front sway bar on it, and we have got, these are just road struts that are in the car basically to help us move it to get it on the trailer. We do have a set of semi-gravel suspension that came out of the 93, the version 1 Rex. It is not the full house stuff. It's not bad. Because it's been in a rollover, we are going to send it out and get it serviced and looked at first, just to check it over and make sure it's okay. If it needs seals or bits and pieces, get that done in it before we bolt that into the car. It's a very straightforward fit into these things with 4 struts, so that'll be one of the last things that we do on the car anyway. I would have liked to have got a bit more done this afternoon. Unfortunately, sometimes time just tends to get away from me, gets away from everybody. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you again on the next episode. Cheers.